Welcome to the program. This morning we'll take a look at what's happening on the markets. We'll discuss those emails that have been written by Donald Trump Jr. and we'll have a preview of the upcoming earnings season. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money. Paul, market sort of flat overnight in the US. We're sort of still sitting around that sort of 5,700, 5,800 level. Not very exciting. Your thoughts on what's happening at the moment?
Yeah, look, not very exciting, but it doesn't want to break down either. And I think that's probably the small positive I take out of what's happened over the last week or so. So maybe look, we're in the hands of the US ultimately, but again, let's look ahead to our earnings season. That's very critical. So, but in the US, later this week we see the whole of major banks start to report. Let's just see what that does for the US markets. If the US market goes up, I guess we're going to follow up too. So, and also, some good data coming out around business conditions. So maybe things are just. I'm probably a little more positive this week than I was last week.
Do you think we've had the correction yet, or do you think we've still got some way to go?
Well, we haven't really been able to break down, and I suppose I'm seeing that as more positive, and maybe we have started to get towards the end of the correction.
Doesn't want to sort of go below. Doesn't want to go below 5.7, does it? Really?
No, it's really struggled. It's been really well bid each time it got there. Very, very fleeting, and look, no one's backing away in this market. So. Look, I think the market's still got a positive bias to it, and I guess if we can't go down, what can't go down will go up. That's what happens in markets, right?
So on next point, did impact the market last night in the US, a bit of a wild ride, but it clawed back with these emails from Donald Trump Jr.
Remarkable. I think the remarkable thing is he released them.
Yeah, after saying that they had no involvement in this whatsoever.
Yeah, just amazing how that is going to unpan. And I guess we're only in instalment 2 or 3 of something that's going to have a multi. There are many more instalments to come out of the US with Donald Trump and his family over the next short period, whatever it is.
It's fascinating watching, isn't it?
I think this is some of the most interesting. If you like politics, if you like thinking about how democracy works, this is some of the most interesting stuff we're probably ever going to see. So we do thank Donald. I mean, he's going to add so much colour to that.
Well, I heard somewhere that great Netflix series House of Cards was actually struggling because people were finding House of Cards so boring compared to the real stuff that's happening in the US at the moment.
It's so much more bizarre. So you're probably right, Marty. Look, more the point about that, the market sold off initially, bounced back. Look, I think the market's still worried about can he get something through on healthcare, and that's got to get something through there in the next about 6 weeks or so.
And tax reform. And
what happens to that. So at the moment, the US market's being very patient with the Donald, and but time is running out on a couple of these things.
Yeah, earnings season not too far off. Not a heap of confessions at the moment that would make us believe that things are going to be terrible.
Yeah, very few confessions on the downside, and normally in the last couple of weeks of June, first week of July, this is when companies pretty well have most of their numbers locked in. The next sort of 4 or 5 weeks are just the auditors getting on top of the data. Yeah. So if there is to be a confession, you really would expect it to have happened. And statistically, as I understand it, Marty, the number of confessions is way down.
Yep.
Which suggests, that we're in for a reasonably positive earnings season. So we might start to see expectations also wind up a little bit, and that might support the market.
And that's the driver we really need to get sort of, from 6,000 and beyond, don't we?
I think so. I mean, I think people have been struggling to see where's the growth. So they actually want to see revenue growing in a number of these companies. And if we can get that, I think that's more positive. I mean, clearly the economics, stars are aligning. I mean, growth, a lot of interesting graphs last week around, all the purchasing managers indexes are all positive. Earnings outlooks are all positive in every country or every major countries, and we're starting to see some better data here locally. So the economic environment is supportive of growth and better company earnings. We just got to see it, I think, for people to believe it, and maybe with that, we can seriously go through 6,000.
Yeah, Paul, thanks for your time. That's all we've got time for. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money.